Let us continue our discussion about Wallis formula. So, ito na yung ating huling example sa topic na ito. Our problem, integral from 0 to 1 of square root of 1 minus x squared raised to 5 times x squared dx. So, this problem is also equal to the integral from 0 to 1 of square root of 1 minus x squared raised to 5 and then times x squared dx. So dito, square root of 1 minus x squared takes the form of a squared minus u squared. Kaya gagamit tayo ng integration by trigonometric substitution. At dyan sa ating problem, yung ating a ay equal sa 1. Ang u natin equal siya sa x, no? So yung a natin 1, ang u natin ay x. At ang substitution natin na gagamitin ay u equals a sine of theta. So yung u na ito, papalitan ng x, kaya magkakaroon tayo ng x equals a, papalitan siya ng 1. So, 1 times sine theta ay sine theta. If x is sine theta, then dx equals cosine theta d theta. Ngayon, from x equals sine theta, dito, sine theta also equal to x over 1. And by definition, sine is opposite divided by the hypotenuse. So if we are going to draw the right triangle defined by this equation, and say that this is the angle theta, so sine is opposite, and that is x, and then the hypotenuse is 1. And then by Pythagorean relation, the side adjacent to angle theta equals square root of 1 minus x squared. Now, from this right triangle now, cosine theta is adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. So, cosine theta equals adjacent side, square root of 1 minus x squared, divided by the hypotenuse 1, or square root of 1 minus x squared. So, that's cosine theta. So, integral from 0 to 1 of square root of 1 minus x squared times x squared dx, So our problem, integral from 0 to 1 of square root of 1 minus x squared raised to 5 x squared dx. In terms of theta, it will be equal to the integral of, so square root of 1 minus x squared, it is equal to cosine of theta. And then raised to 5. And then x, it is equal to sine of theta. So sine of theta. And then squared. And then times dx. And dx equals cosine of theta d theta. Cosine of theta d theta. So ngayon naman, alamin natin yung lower at upper limits o lower at upper limit in terms of theta. So balik tayo rito sa ating substitution. From x equals sine theta. So from sine theta equals x. So dito, pag sinolve natin yung angle theta, theta equals arcsine of x. So yung lower limit natin in terms of x, so when x is 0, so yung magiging lower limit natin in terms of theta, it will be equal to arcsine of 0. So yung x na yun papalitan ng 0. Arcsine of 0. And arcsine of 0 is 0. So yung ating lower limit in terms of theta ay 0 din. Yun naman ating upper limit in terms of x ay 1. So when x equals 1, so yung magiging upper limit natin in terms of theta, it will be equal to arcsine of 1. So yung x na yun papalitan din ng 1. So gamit ulit yung equation na ito. So theta will be equal to arcsine of 1. Arcsine of 1 equals 90 degrees or pi over 2. So yung upper limit natin in terms of theta is pi over 2. So lower limit natin in terms of theta ay 0. Upper limit natin in terms of theta is pi over 2. And then after that, we will have integral from 0 to pi over 2. So we have sine squared of theta. And then cosine to the fifth times cosine theta is cosine raised to 6 of theta d theta. So dito, pwede natin ngayong i-apply yung Wallis formula. So ito yung ating M2, ito naman yung ating N6. So by Wallis formula, yung una ay M minus 1. 2 minus 1, yung unang term natin sa numerator. At ang 2 minus 1 ay 1. So dahil narating na natin yung difference na 1, so hanggang doon na lang tayo. So lipat na tayo ngayon sa ating N or 6. So ang kasunod na term ay 6 minus 1. And that's 5. Ang kasunod nun ay 6 minus 3. And 6 minus 3 is 3. Ang kasunod na term ay 6 minus 5. At ang 6 minus 5 ay 1. So dahil narating na natin yung difference na 1, so hanggang doon na lang tayo. So divided by. So yung unang term sa denominator ay m plus n. 2 plus 6. At ang 2 plus 6 ay 8. Ang kasunod nun ay 8 minus 2. At ang 8 minus 2 ay 6. Ang kasunod ay 8 minus 4. At ang 8 minus 4 ay 4. Ang kasunod ay 8 minus 6. At ang 8 minus 6 ay 2. So dahil narating na natin yung difference na 2, so hanggang doon na lang tayo. At ang kasunod na term ay times alpha. So yung alpha natin ay pi over 2 dahil yung mga exponent natin ay parehong even. So times pi over 2. So meron tayong 3, cancel on 3. No? So sa ating numerator, 1 times 5 times 1 times pi. So that's 5 pi. Divided by, so meron tayong 8 times 2, 16. So 4 times 2 times 2 ay 16 din. So 16 times 16, 256. So the answer is 256. Exercises.